for the next wave of breakthroughs in medicine. Now, I'd like to turn now to, I think, for India, a very important part of the story, which is the work of our company and the work of the industry to really tackle tropical diseases at scale. So this is a picture of artemisinin, which is a plant that is common in China, also can be found in India. It is the basis of coartem, a medicine that we created for malaria, and also the basis of a Nobel Prize in medicine. It's actually a fascinating story. Actually, the basis of understanding coartem comes from 2,200-year-old ancient Chinese medicine texts. The scientists who won the Nobel Prize spent decades studying these texts and found that there could be a source for understanding where we could find anti-malarial drugs. This plant led to a revolution. Around 2000, we made this drug. Other partners now, other generic companies as well, make artemisinin-based anti-malarials at scale. They create the possibility of actually curing malaria in 5 days. And for Novartis, we've now reached over 1 billion doses of coartem provided to patients around the world at cost, at no profit. And when you think about that, also 400 million children have now been reached by that effort. I think it shows how when we apply technology, innovation to problems like malaria, and then come up with access paradigms, we can have tremendous impact on public health. It's not a story that's well told, but the reason now malaria can even be thought of as being globally eliminated is because we've been able to find these therapeutics. We're working on the next wave of therapeutics. We're doing those clinical trials on malaria in India right now. Alongside that, the work on leprosy is, I think, another great example of the power of when industry can work with communities to make a big difference. This is an example of one of the leprosy programs we run in India. Novartis donates the global supply of leprosy drugs for the world for free. And our challenge, though, has been being able to identify patients with leprosy and get them the medicines that they need. This is one example of many that we have where we are now re-energizing our efforts to really help India completely tackle leprosy. It's one of the few places in the world where we still have a prevalence of leprosy that is untreated. The drugs work extremely well. We just have to identify the patients and get the patients the medicines that they need. And then the third example I wanted to share is sickle cell disease. I was surprised to learn that India has the largest population, one of the largest populations in a country, the largest population of sickle cell disease in the world. Now, sickle cell disease is a disease that the industry has generally not really worked on. And until recently, there wasn't many new medicines. And then in the last 5 years, multiple new medicines have come forward. But what we learned in that journey was the basics aren't often in place. Children are not identified early that they have sickle cell disease. They're not getting the basic therapies such as hydroxyurea or penicillin-based therapies. And the opportunity exists to do newborn screening, early screening, and get patients the medicines that they need. So that's what we're endeavoring to do now in partnership with various NGOs in India on sickle cell disease. Can we get to that? First, the basics in place. We do it as well in Africa with 5 newborn screening programs in African countries. And then as the innovation comes, get that innovation in an accessible, affordable way to patients who need it in sickle cell disease in India and around the world. The last part of the innovation part of the story, I think we wouldn't be able to have this meeting without talking about the power of data science and AI, and how it's going to transform many elements of drug discovery. Now, I think first it's important to note, given all of the complexity I shared with you, billions of years, unfortunately we don't have the data to give the AI algorithm to really solve these problems. I really think of it as augmenting the human mind. It's not going to replace the human mind. We need humans to structure these problems, think critically about these problems, and we need the technology to enable those humans to work more efficiently, more effectively. And that's what we hope to do. This is one of our AI centers in Basel, where we predict all of the clinical trials in Novartis in real time, trying to predict the enrollment, trying to predict how the quality and overall study conduct is happening. We have other examples as well, as is happening now at scale across the industry. And I think it'll be really important to see now how we can use generative AI technologies in an appropriate way to speed up drug development and drug R&D. And another, I think, incredible example of how AI is transforming how medicine is being developed is the work of AlphaFold, where in a series of papers, they've elucidated that they can predict how proteins fold. This has been a vexing challenge because usually you have to do months of experimentation when you have an amino acid sequence to know how a protein folds. Now scientists for free can go to AlphaFold, get the protein structure, and unlock whole new areas of biology or understand drug targets and speed up the drug delivery process. So AI is only going to enable the other areas that I talked about, but always remember, it's got to be AI with a human. And that's what really, I think, creates the magic of getting to the next wave of discoveries. Now, all of the things I told you really depend on people. I think one of the things we don't talk about enough is that our industry, with all of the technology and all of the advancements we have, is a people industry. I was asked yesterday in Novartis Hyderabad in the town hall, what is the greatest asset of Novartis? What is the greatest strength of Novartis? It's our people. And it's only with people working together in extraordinary ways, in good cultures that really enable knowledge-based work to happen. We call it an inspired, curious, and unbossed culture at Novartis. Do things really happen? I just wanted to share a short video of just in the last 9 months, the faces that I get to see who work on these problems around the world. So I think every one of the companies in this room is filled with tens of thousands of people who do this kind of work every day. And that brings me, I think, to the last story I'd like to share with all of you. And that's the story of Novartis in Hyderabad. So I remember coming here, I mean, it must have been 15 years ago. I was the head of Novartis vaccines development. And we were just starting here, over by, I think, I don't know the geography well. We had a building near the Westin Hotel in high-tech city. We were just starting an idea to say, what if we could build a capability center in Hyderabad? We started out very humble, a few hundred people, primarily in vaccines and pharma drug development, and it grew and grew and grew. Over the last 5 years, we've doubled our presence here. And we went from a center that was doing, let's call it more back office processing work, to increasingly the most critical elements of the work that Novartis does as a company around the world. We brought the core of our drug development, data management, clinical trial operations, patient safety here. Then we began to bring finance. We ran our people and organization work. We brought our manufacturing centers oversight, our quality centers, procurement. Then we began to bring strategic work here. Now we have multiple roles, which are just 2 levels from me sitting in Hyderabad. 3 levels from me, many roles sitting in Hyderabad. Hyderabad has no longer a service center for Novartis. Hyderabad is our corporate center. We call it one of our Novartis corporate centers, one of 3 in the world. And I think that's a story that is amazing. I take tremendous pride in it. It's, again, a testament to the tremendous support we have for the government. But I also think it's a story of India. It's a story that we can move up into the innovation and high-value part of the value chain faster than anywhere else because the talent in this country is second to none. And it's the reason we come at such scale is the talent of the people. So I think the invitation to all of the leaders in this room is to keep investing in Hyderabad, keep investing in India, keep investing in the talent. I think we'll continue to find maybe the next CEOs, people like me, in these rooms that we all get to work with. So I want to thank the organizers again for the opportunity to come here and speak. It's always a great honor, a great pleasure I am inspired by everything I see here. Every time I come back, I only see further and further progress. We as a company, I as a leader, I'm only committed to the journey that we continue to be on here in this country and in the region and in Hyderabad. So thank you all very, very much.
Dr. Narasimhan, thank you, sir. Please stay back for a second. Can I request the Honorable Minister to please felicitate Dr. Narasimhan, a small token of our appreciation and gratitude, and some very, very key takeaways: the significant role of technology and innovation in health, how healthcare is on the major helm of transformation. At the epicenter, of course, there are people. Thank you, Honourable Minister. And Dr. Narasimhan, we let you go with one request, 1 year in advance, that we intend and we hope and request to see you in BioAsia 2024 as well. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Please join us in the audience. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated. We are all set for our first panel discussion. Please allow us just about 5 moments to set the stage for the same, but please remain seated. Our first panel discussion of the day, operationalizing the One Health approach, nexus of science, indigenous knowledge policy, will begin in about 5 minutes. Please remain seated. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall begin our first panel discussion of the day, operationalizing the One Health approach. In about 5 minutes, we request you all to please remain seated.